Hey guys, and welcome back to the ASX Investor channel and welcome to another CEO interview. Today, we will be unpacking and discussing the story of Syrah Resources. ASX SYR is playing in the graphite sector. We all know about the excitement surrounding the EV adoption and this clean energy transition. And Syrah have developed out currently the largest scale vertically integrated graphite operation outside of China. It's an exciting sector. There's a lot of excitement surrounding the Syrah story as well. They've recently announced a deal with Tesla, the leading global EV maker. But of course, their offering and the opportunity is much broader than just that one individual agreement too, and we'll unpack it all. We're welcoming the CEO and Managing Director, Shaun Verner. Shaun, it's great to have you on the channel, mate. Welcome.
Thanks very much. Appreciate the time.
Before we dive into all of the excitement and everything that's been playing out in the story, if you can just give us that overview of who is Syrah Resources, what's that offering that you've been developing out, and the two sides of the offering as well, please. Thank you.
So Syrah Resources is the world's largest integrated natural graphite producer. We have the Balama mining operation in Mozambique, 350,000 tonnes capacity of natural graphite per annum, selling into global markets, but primarily targeting the lithium-ion battery market. We've been producing since late 2017 out of that facility, and whilst there's been some challenges with the market and COVID and various other things through the last couple of years, the operation's running as well as it ever has at the moment. So we're very excited about the demand opportunity in front of us. The second piece of Syrah's offering is the Vidalia Downstream Active Anode Material Facility. As you referred to, we announced an offtake agreement with Tesla just before Christmas, and that agreement will see us deliver 8,000 tonnes per annum for 4 years on a fixed price basis to Tesla, and it is really an underpinning agreement for the development of that facility, and we're looking to take an investment decision for the first 10,000 tonnes of capacity in the course of this month.
It's exciting times. There's plenty to watch for. I guess before we dive into all of that, maybe just a bit of a broader sector discussion. Of course, many investors will know about graphite and its use as a key component within graphite anodes, but actually the largest use case in the current is actually on the industrial side. Can you talk about the graphite sector itself and some of those trends that you're seeing develop and why you're so excited about the opportunity ahead?
Yeah, sure. I mean, historically, the largest market segment has been industrial uses, particularly in steelmaking and refractories. And that still makes up more than half of global demand of just over 1 million tonnes a year of natural graphite. But over the last couple of years, we've seen the lithium-ion battery sector and the anode material products lift the portion of demand from less than 200,000 tonnes a couple of years ago to already around 400,000 tonnes a year. And we expect the natural graphite market to grow to over 3.5 million tonnes by 2030. So huge growth in the upstream natural graphite market. And obviously that's being driven by the active anode material demand growth and EV numbers. And as we've seen EVs grow to 6 billion units in 2021, the rate of adoption is really fast at the moment.
And I think just to help to conceptualize it for the viewers as well, you speak about natural graphite. We know there is those two sides of the coin, natural, synthetic. However, it's not binary. There's often a blend of the two going into the product. Would love just if you could give that overview, natural, synthetic, and some of those benefits about why natural graphite is also appreciated by the manufacturers.
Natural graphite and artificial graphite or synthetic graphite are both important components in the blend of anode material. And as you say, nearly all anode material is a blend of the two separate products. And if you look at what buyers are interested in as they're making a purchase decision, you have 4 key elements. First of all, safety. Second, cost. Third, energy density. And fourth, cycle life. From a safety perspective, there's no appreciable difference between the two products. On a cost basis, natural graphite anode material is probably 40% cheaper on average than synthetic graphite. Energy density, there is a slight advantage to natural graphite, and in cycle life, historically, artificial graphite has had an advantage, and that's why most anode material is a blend of the two products. We expect to see that continue. At the moment, natural graphite's about 40 to 45% of the global market for anode material as an input material, but that is increasing. And one of the main reasons for that is ESG advantages in the production of natural graphite.
And that, of course, leads us then to Balama. You've got a large-scale natural graphite project there in Mozambique. It's high grade, got a huge resource life as well. I'd love just to give that overview about how the project's going. Obviously, there was a temporary break in 2020 due to the market conditions, the virus, everything else that played out, but you're back in operation now and looking to continue to scale that.
Absolutely. The Balama natural graphite operation is, as I said at the start, the world's largest natural graphite resource. And the largest integrated natural graphite production facility. And we have a reserve of over 100 million tonnes at 16% total graphitic carbon grade, and a resource of 1.4 billion tonnes at 10%. So, you know, the reserve already sees us with the ability to produce for 50 years at 350,000 tonnes per annum. So an enormous reserve and resource and a great operation. As you say, we've had some interruptions with COVID and market conditions in late 2019 were not supportive. But the market has really strengthened in the last 12 months. We took a restart decision in February last year. And our operating performance at Balama has been very, very good through the last 6 months in particular. The current constraint is the global shipping market, where we are seeing restrictions on availability and scheduling of vessels, but we're actually in the process of adding break bulk shipments to our current containerized supply chain. So we expect to see significant alleviation of those constraints in 2022, and we're really looking forward to that.
And then I guess when we're thinking further downstream as well, of course, you've got the Vidalia facility in Louisiana. Those familiar with the graphite sector would know that at the moment, the majority of the downstream is all done in China. We'd love just to hear initially your strategic rationale for why Vidalia and that opportunity that you are trying to feed into.
Natural graphite and anode material supply chain is currently heavily influenced by Chinese production. So upstream, about 65% of natural graphite production globally is coming from China. About 95% plus of precursor material, the spherical graphite, comes from China, and about 85% of finished anode material. So there is a real need, as the electric vehicle value chain expands in Europe and the US, to see anode material production in those locations localized as a source of supply. So we chose the US and Louisiana specifically to help solve that local sourcing and diversification problem for potential customers. We've been really pleased with how Louisiana has evolved for us. Great people, competitive input costs, and great access to logistics and the customer base. So it's been an excellent decision for us to develop there since 2018.
And it seems like it's all coming together on that front now. If you can provide some insights, I guess, about the pathway moving forward. You actually mentioned earlier that final investment decision and financing in and around this period. So investors will be eagerly awaiting that. And then what happens from there, pending the success on that front?
The offtake contract that we announced with Tesla just before Christmas is critical to the final investment decision that we'll be taking to our board of directors this month. And I think it's also important to understand that we remain engaged with more than 10 other potential customers. We have a small amount of unsold production continue to offer to the market, but what's really apparent is that there is strong growth in demand and higher volume. And as we take this final investment decision forward, we're also thinking about what next and how we accelerate the potential expansion of Vidalia in future.
And so is it fair enough to anticipate then that potentially if demand continues to grow at this rate of knots that we're really seeing right now, there could be an acceleration in terms of the scale up and the expansions that you're considering further down the line?
Yeah, that's right. And we talked at our last quarterly update about a path that would see us go from a 10,000 tonne initial capacity to somewhere between 40 and 50,000 tonnes as a potential expansion. Now, we're not making that investment decision today. We're focused this month on the first 10,000 tonnes. But as I said, that demand volume and the number of customers seeking localised sources of supply means that we're really looking to accelerate that development into the next phase.
Of course, Tesla is a household name. Everybody is familiar with it as well. For those investors who might not have seen it, if you can give that overview about some of the specifics surrounding the deal. But I think what might be more interesting as well is why Tesla is so interested in your active anode material and what they're really hoping to seek from the partnership as well.
I can talk a little bit about the specifics of the contract. We have fairly tight confidentiality requirements around, which is not unusual, but the contract is for 4 years, fixed term and fixed volume of 8,000 tonnes per annum out of the 10,000 tonnes facility, and at a fixed price for that 4-year period. There's also an option for Tesla to potentially take additional volume should the facility be expanded. When it comes to why we were able to provide, I think, a compelling proposition to Tesla, I'd talk more generally, I guess, around what customers in the US are seeking at the moment. I've talked about the localization of supply, and that's really to have security of supply and diversification of sourcing. But there's also a very strong focus on the ESG credentials and particularly the emissions footprint of potential suppliers. And I think one of the real attractions with regard to Syrah is the integrated nature of Balama's upstream material and the Vidalia downstream active anode material facility, and being able to therefore trace and audit the material right from source all the way through to the finished product.
And so I guess you touched on it a little bit there, but it'd just be interesting to hear as well from your personal perspective, as well as what the team's currently considering for that outlook for the graphite sector more broadly. We're obviously seeing it start to really attract attention. If 2021 was the year of lithium, it looks like 2022 might be for graphite and some of those other EV battery materials as well. Just keen to hear your thoughts on the outlook for it.
Yeah, we're very positive about the outlook for natural graphite and for anode material. The number of EVs produced and sold in 2021 more than doubled year on year to 6 million units. We expect that to grow to over 30 million EVs by 2030. And that sees natural graphite upstream growing by more than 3 million tonnes, and anode material growing from somewhere around 450,000 tonnes to over 2.5 million tonnes of demand by 2030. So the demand growth outlook is very, very healthy, and we're finally starting to see that all flow through into commercial discussions and into contracting right back upstream. So it's a very healthy outlook at the moment. And in addition to that, we've seen some significant improvement in pricing for natural graphite upstream, with external price reporters showing increases of 30 to 40% for natural graphite fines over the last 6 months. So it's a very positive outlook, both in the short term, but also particularly in the longer term.
It sounds like this quarter is definitely going to be a big one as well for Syrah, but love to hear as well, over this next 12 months, what are some of those key growth drivers and catalysts that you think investors should keep their eyes on when they're looking at ASX SYR?
Well, first of all, clearly the final investment decision for Vidalia's expansion is critical. And once we see that, the focus will be very much on moving ahead as quickly as possible with construction. The aim, if we do take that final investment decision, is to have production up and running out of that first phase of the facility by the second half of 2023. So it's a fairly rapid evolution of that project, and a lot has already been done. I think the other key aspect with regard to Vidalia is the potential for further expansion, and we will look toward doing a bankable feasibility study quickly for an expansion for Vidalia, and that's something that we want to look at during the course of 2022 as well. At Balama, it's all about increasing production and increasing sales, and the sales increase will be driven by our access to shipping availability. And as I said, that introduction of break bulk shipments should really see a change in our ability to move more tonnes out of Balama, particularly into China.
Plenty to watch there. I guess the final question is for those longer term shareholders who might have been following the Syrah Resources story, or prospective shareholders who might be thinking about Syrah now, any final reflections that you wanted to leave them with?
Yeah, I think there is a really unique differentiation that Syrah offers compared to other listed graphite projects that are out there. And that difference is, firstly, that we've been in operation now for 4 years and have learnt an enormous amount during that period of time. And the downstream integration and the fact that we have the footprint, we have the commercial arrangements in place, and we can provide that integrated solution from mine to finished product of active anode material is an absolute differentiator. So we are only looking to capitalise further on that as we look to expand and we look to make use of Balama's full capacity. So it's an exciting time ahead.
That's Syrah Resources. It's ASX SYR. If you did enjoy this video, don't forget to hit the like button. Feel free to share it out. We make daily videos each and every day, so make sure you've subscribed and turn your bell notifications on. Shaun Verner, the CEO and Managing Director of Syrah Resources. It was a pleasure to catch up, mate. There's plenty going on, so looking forward to catching up again and seeing how everything's playing out for Syrah Resources.
Thank you very much.